Welcome back to the show. April is World Autism Month, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow, April 2nd, is World Autism Awareness Day. Gives us a great opportunity not only to raise awareness, but tell you how you can help raise much-needed funds. And I am joined by the National Manager of Community Events at Autism Speaks Canada, Krista Leitham. Krista, welcome to the show. Great to see you. Krista, let's talk about the importance of having this month and how important raising awareness is. Of course, fundraising is incredibly important, but the awareness part of it is just as important.
Absolutely. That's a great question. We are so passionate about the work that we do, and it's not only about awareness, we're also well beyond it. We're also very much working towards understanding, acceptance, and inclusion of all ages of individuals who are living with autism. And with 1 in 66 Canadian children and youth who are diagnosed on the spectrum, it is important for us to have a larger conversation about it and to mobilize the public for more support.
Krista, what is autism spectrum disorder? How would you describe it?
Often its acronym is ASD, or it's called autism, but it is a spectrum. Autism in one person never is the same in another person. And it is a neurodevelopmental disorder, a lifelong condition, and it does present different challenges by way of social communication, social behavior, picking up on social cues. Up to a third are nonverbal, although they do communicate, but in nonverbal ways. Speech is also an issue.
How do you at Autism Speaks Canada, how do you help individuals and families, Krista?
We love the work that we do, and in terms of coming together as a community, we do provide funds through our Autism Speaks Canada walk events across the country. Ottawa has their walk on Sunday, June 5th. It's our 9th edition, but the funds that are raised do help families by us providing grants for community services that community organizations or service providers render with their programming services and resources. In addition to that, we also fund research. Research is a catalyst to ensure that we do have innovative medicine and precise medicine, but also personalized healthcare.
We've seen cutbacks when it comes to autism and families needing support. It can be incredibly expensive for a lot of families out there. They just don't have the means. Can you just expand on that a little bit for us, Krista?
Yes. So it's common knowledge for most that to get services in the public system, there can be and is a long waiting list. There is always the option to go the private route as well. Unfortunately, there is a larger need for services than there is necessarily the output of available services. And so this is why when we do mobilize the public, it's not just the families and our practitioners in the autism community, it's to have support from the larger public to realize that the prevalence of autism with 1 in 66 Canadian children and youth on the spectrum, we do need those vital funds to keep the care going forward.
I know that you mentioned, of course, the walk and how important that is. It's one of your biggest fundraisers, if not the biggest. And each year, of course, across the country, you have local ambassadors. Here in Ottawa, you have a local ambassador. Tell us a little bit about them.
Oh, he's a great, active, full of joy, young grade 2 boy, Talus. He's a local Ottawan, and his family have been huge supporters of our Ottawa Walk for many years now. Talus, his story is very inspiring because it does reflect the story of other families. Talus was about 2.5 years old when he was diagnosed, and at the same time, he has social behavioral issues. It helps him being back at school, especially after COVID, because COVID hit when he was in senior kindergarten. Not easy for any age, especially that age.
Yeah, the impact of the pandemic, of course, has hit so many people. I mean, you just describing it there, how difficult it can be. And maybe you can you mentioned, that diagnosis. How important is that early diagnosis? I know we've spoken to it in the past, but maybe you can just talk about that, the importance of an early diagnosis when it comes to autism spectrum disorder.
Yes. with our evidence-based research, we have been able to provide more opportunities for education and awareness, not only on the part of the caregiver to notice possible signs of autism, but also to have professionals be able to best diagnose autism early enough. And we can securely say that we do have the means to have autism spectrum diagnoses done as early as 2 years old. So the age for them to have diagnosis done is much better when it's at 2 years old, because the trajectory to get those services going, they have more of a progression for their needs as of the earlier age going forward.
Yeah, and just a reminder, everyone, that walk is happening on June the 5th, and the best way to register, Krista, I imagine, is on the website, and we brought that up throughout the interview. Krista, really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Daytime Ottawa right here on Rogers TV.